I am William Shakespeare, a playwright, poet, and actor born in the small market town of Stratford-upon-Avon in 1564. My name has since become synonymous with literature, and my works have traversed the bounds of time, reaching people from all walks of life. Yet, I began humbly, the son of a glove maker, never imagining that my words would one day define the English language itself. I was born on April 23, 1564, to John Shakespeare and Mary Arden, the eldest surviving child of 8. Stratford, with its rolling countryside and simple town life, shaped much of my early years. My father, a successful businessman and local official, provided me with a comfortable childhood. However, our family's fortunes shifted as I grew older, and the prosperity we once enjoyed faded, which may have influenced my hunger for success. My education was likely at the local grammar school, where I studied the classics, Latin, history, and literature, which would later influence my writing. I was particularly fascinated by the Roman poets and playwrights, who crafted tales of gods and men, love and tragedy. Their stories ignited my imagination and would one day find their echoes in my own works. At 18, I married Anne Hathaway, a woman 8 years my senior, and soon after, we had our first daughter, Susanna, followed by twins, Hamnet and Judith. My marriage, though solid in public appearances, was marked by long periods of separation as I ventured to London to pursue my theatrical career, leaving Anne and the children behind in Stratford. The details of my move to London are shrouded in mystery, and much speculation surrounds the so-called lost years of my life between 1585 and 1592. Some say I fled to London after poaching deer from a local lord's estate. Others suggest that I became a schoolteacher. Whatever the truth, I know only that the allure of the stage drew me like a moth to flame. London in the late 16th century was a bustling, vibrant city, full of opportunity and danger alike. Theaters were rising in popularity, drawing large crowds, from royalty to commoners. The smell of the River Thames, the sound of merchants hawking their wares, and the ceaseless energy of the city were intoxicating. I quickly found my place within this whirlwind, joining a troupe of actors known as the Lord Chamberlain's Men, later renamed the King's Men under the patronage of King James I. At first, I acted in small roles, learning the craft from the inside out. But my true calling was writing. I began by adapting and expanding upon existing works, but soon, original stories and ideas flowed from my pen. In the early 1590s, I penned Henry VI, my first foray into the world of historical drama, where I explored themes of power, war, and the human condition, elements that would become hallmarks of my work. As the years passed, my plays became increasingly popular. I wrote comedies that delighted audiences with their wit and humor, such as A Midsummer Night's Dream, Twelfth Night, and Much Ado About Nothing. These comedies were full of mistaken identities, love triangles, and clever wordplay, with characters that danced between worlds of fantasy and reality. But it was not just comedy that captivated me. It was tragedy. The human heart, torn between ambition and love, power and humility, fascinated me. In Romeo and Juliet, I crafted a tale of love so intense that it defied family, fate, and even death. In Hamlet, I delved into the mind of a man tormented by indecision, revenge, and existential doubt, questioning the very nature of life itself. I sought to capture the full range of human experience in my works. Othello exposed the destructive power of jealousy and manipulation, while Macbeth laid bare the terrifying consequences of unchecked ambition. In King Lear, I depicted the unraveling of a monarch who, in his arrogance, destroys his kingdom and himself, leaving nothing but ruin in his wake. These tragedies resonated deeply with my audiences, for they reflected the very struggles they faced in their own lives. As my fame grew, so did my influence. My troupe performed at the famous Globe Theatre, built in 1599. The Globe was a wooden O, where thousands of Londoners gathered to watch my plays. It was there that I saw the power of theater firsthand, as it united rich and poor in a shared experience. From the cheapest standing tickets to the most expensive seated boxes, All were welcome to hear the stories I wove. Though my plays are what many remember me for, my poetry was just as important to my career. In 1593, when the theaters were closed due to the plague, I turned to poetry, penning Venus and Adonis and The Rape of Lucrece, both of which garnered significant attention. And then there were my sonnets, 154 of them, each a meditation on love, beauty, time, and mortality. In those 14-line verses, I explored the fleeting nature of life, the cruelty of unrequited love, and the triumph of art over death. Some were written for a fair youth, a young man whose beauty and grace captivated my heart. Others were for a mysterious dark lady, whose allure and torment haunted my thoughts. Together, they formed a tapestry of emotion and intellect, offering glimpses into my innermost feelings. As I matured as a writer, my plays grew darker, more complex. The comedies of my early years gave way to the somber tones of the late tragedies and romances. The Tempest and The Winter's Tale were tales of redemption, forgiveness, and the passage of time, themes that reflected my own journey. But success came hand in hand with personal loss. In 1596, my only son, Hamnet, died at the age of 11. His death left a deep scar on my heart, one that may have influenced my later works, particularly the themes of grief and fatherhood in Hamlet and King Lear. The loss of Hamnet was a constant reminder of the fragility of life, a theme I would return to again and again in my plays. Despite this grief, I continued to write, each play a new exploration of the human soul. In 1603, I became the official playwright of the King's Men, receiving royal patronage from King James I. My work was now being performed not just for the public but for the royal court as well, and I was regarded as the preeminent dramatist of my time. In 1611, after nearly 2 decades in London, I retired to my hometown of Stratford. Though my years in the capital had brought me fame and fortune, I longed for the peace of the countryside. I purchased New Place, a large house in the heart of Stratford, where I spent my final years in relative quiet, tending to my affairs and my family. Though I had retired from the stage, I remained involved in the theater world, overseeing the production of my plays and maintaining relationships with my fellow actors and playwrights. I lived to see my works printed and published, ensuring their survival for future generations. I died on April 23, 1616, on my 52nd birthday. My death was quiet, unlike the lives of the characters I had created. I was buried in the chancel of Holy Trinity Church in Stratford, where a monument was erected in my honor. On my tombstone, a simple epitaph reads, "Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spares these stones, and cursed be he that moves my bones. Though I am gone, my words live on. The plays I wrote, the stories I told, have become the foundation of English literature. I explored the full range of human experience: love, jealousy, ambition, revenge, redemption, and in doing so, I captured the essence of what it means to be human. My works have been translated into every language, performed in every corner of the world, and studied by scholars for centuries. From the humble beginnings in Stratford to the bustling stages of London, I lived a life filled with words, ideas, and characters that continue to speak to audiences today. Though I walked this earth in a time long past, my voice echoes through the ages. I am William Shakespeare, and my words will live forever.